All right, next we're gonna make our saucer. I rolled out a slab using my handy dandy cup. It seems to work pretty well. And don't make your slab too thin. Remember, about the thickness of your thumb. So kind of put your thumb there. It should be about the same thickness. If it's too thin, what's going to happen is it's going to crack and break. So I'm telling you, make sure it's thick enough so that it won't break on you. Think bigger than you need because I'll show you why. So as I'm putting this down, all right, I have to have a groove for this to sit on, first of all. So I'm going to go and trace around that. Even this part of the handle. So you need the actual cup. All right, so that's kind of the groove. Then I've got to plan out, all right, how do I want this palette to kind of go? Okay, then I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to save those scraps because I'm going to use them later. All right, this I want cut out because that's where the painter puts their finger when they're holding the paint palette. Changing the shape just a little bit. Okay. This part needs to be dug down so the cup can fit in there. And that's why it was important to trace the cup so you can see what you're doing. Now I'm going to use I'm trying to think what tool to use. Maybe a spoon at home would work. But I'm going to try, yep, this will work. Now I'm going to dig out using the popsicle stick. I want to dig that so that the cup has a place to rest. Now, this is why it's important too that it's fairly thick, because if you carve too much, you'll go all the way through and that's not good. So like I said, make sure this is thick enough, your saucer. Okay, and I'm digging out this groove where the handle kind of rested on the table. Okay, then once I get it dug out, now I'm going to take my finger and smooth this out. Okay, and then I probably should check to make sure it still fits. If we have to make any adjustments, it's easier now. All right, I'm going to go just a little bit wider. And if you didn't know this, when clay dries, it shrinks about 10%. So the cup's going to shrink too, but so is the saucer. So make it just a little bit bigger to err on the side of caution. So that groove, you can kind of see that where it's going to fit. It's important to do that groove first because then you can do your details next. So I'm smoothing this out. Because remember, any of these like sharp schnivelets of clay are going to be extremely sharp once they're fired in the kiln. All right, so I need the paint dabs kind of on here. So I'm going to take this extra clay that I have, and all I'm going to do is, I don't want the paint dabs to be perfect because when you squirt out paint onto your palette, they're by any means perfect. So maybe a little smaller because I want it to be on the outside edge here. All right, then I'm going to score where I want to add it, add some slip. I want that to be more 3D like real paint would be, like on your palette, popping out at you. Seal it all the way around. And you usually don't just have one color, so we'll add some more dabs of paint on here. Like I said, it can be any shape because it kind of comes out. Okay, score. Add slip. And seal. And I'll take some of my scraps here. Same thing. Score. Add some slip as my glue. And then go and seal it up. Okay, a couple more of those dabs and we'll be good. Score. And add a few more. Score it on. Slip. I think one more. Okay, I'm going to rotate this and to kind of seal on the other side of some of these. And then you'll notice that it's kind of bumpy and not very smooth looking. Well, part of your craftsmanship grade is getting things nice and smooth And well, how can we do that at home? Because typically we use sponge. So if you do happen to have a sponge that you can use at home, that's kind of the easiest way to kind of smooth everything out that needs to be smooth. If you don't have a sponge, we can improvise. You could take paper towel and get it wet and kind of do the same thing with the paper towel. So I'm going to get that paper towel wet here. Kind of put the paper towel on my finger here and use it to smooth things out. So we can improvise if need be. Be careful. You don't want to get it too soupy wet or you'll have a mess on your hand. So just enough water to kind of smooth everything out. All right, couple things. Your mug, on your mug, on the bottom, put your name. Okay? On the bottom of your saucer, do the same thing. Get in the habit of most of your work has to be signed like that. There's a few exceptions if it doesn't work with the detail and stuff, but most of it, get in the habit of signing your work. All right, and making sure everything's smooth here. One last time. And then this is important. You got to take your mug and set your mug in that groove when it starts to dry. That way they kind of dry together, and so that groove is going to stay there for your mug. Then remember, you put it in the bag. Okay, and if you have some type of board or plate that you can set this on, that might be easier. If not, you can do it like this. Set it on the bag, leave the bag slightly open. Then you want to come in and check it like the next day. Okay, look at it. Are there any cracks? If there are, fix them up. Okay, if not, you can open the bag a little bit wider the next day. So keep that in mind as you're letting this dry. The bigger the projects, the more drying time they need, and the slower the drying time they need. So that is making your saucer.